I mean, the costume designer on Gossip Girl. But anyone who works with me,
I love that.
it's like drinking through a fire hose. You're like, wow, I come in and I'm like, this is what we're gonna do. But it's just because I really I find that fashion is storytelling. It's a way to message so much more than you can with words. Sometimes it's a silent way to message things. So the way that I come into a character is always through the fashion and through the costumes. So
saw in another interview you said that Ryan, actually, your husband Ryan Reynolds, wrote part of that rooftop scene. Is that true?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I would have to compare it to the original one, but that's 99% his. Yeah, he just added, I mean, Chrissy Hall wrote an incredible screenplay. It was, one of the reasons that I wanted to do this film. But also, there are natural tweaks and modifications that come in when the actor is hired and you're trying to infuse your own personality and your own authenticity. And it's like, women are people of multitudes. And, I think that it was important to me that it didn't just feel like someone's interpretation of like, female gaze. Like it really was, this is what we like, this is what we listen to, this is what makes us feel these vibes. And we had an incredible music supervisor, Season Kent, and one of our editors, Shane Reed, who, fun fact, he was my editor on Taylor's music video that I directed. And I was obsessed with him. And I was like, this guy.
Did Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds just get caught in the biggest power play scandal Hollywood has seen in years? The evidence against them is shocking, and it might destroy their carefully crafted image forever. You thought you knew America's golden couple, but what's happening behind closed doors is about to change everything. A $400 million lawsuit is now ripping through Hollywood, exposing text messages, secret recordings, and bombshell evidence that no one saw coming. Blake Lively's perfect image is crumbling, and it all started with what should have been her biggest movie yet. But the receipts don't lie, and they're damning. Let's dive straight into the evidence. Blake Lively was cast as the lead in It Ends With Us, the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's gut-wrenching novel about domestic abuse. Justin Baldoni was the director and co-star. It should have been a perfect collaboration. But what happened next sent shockwaves through the industry. During the film's promotion, Blake made the catastrophic decision to market this serious domestic violence story like it was some fun girls' night out movie. She showed up in floral dresses, pushed her hair care line, alcohol brand, and designer jeans while talking about a film centered on abuse. The backlash was immediate and brutal. But instead of owning her mistake, Blake allegedly did something that has left Hollywood speechless. According to explosive court documents, she tried to force Justin Baldoni and his production company to take the fall for her marketing failures. The evidence? A prepared statement allegedly written by Blake and Ryan that they wanted Baldoni to release, taking full responsibility for the film's troubled production. The exact wording from court documents filed on August 12th reads, "It Ends With Us was a troubled production which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to, privately and publicly." But that's just the beginning. What Blake allegedly did next is what has everyone saying she's gone too far. When Justin Baldoni refused to take the blame for her PR disaster, Blake and Ryan allegedly launched an all-out war against him. They filed a bombshell $250 million lawsuit, claiming he was behind a smear campaign to destroy her career. But wait, there's a twist no one saw coming. According to Baldoni's attorney, Brian Fredman, this lawsuit isn't about justice at all. It's a calculated power move to steal the rights to It Starts With Us, the highly anticipated sequel, right out from under Baldoni. The evidence suggests Blake and Ryan wanted complete creative control over the franchise and saw Baldoni as nothing but an obstacle in their way. And what happened in federal court this week? No one was ready for this. Judge Louis Lyman denied Blake's request for a gag order. Her team desperately wanted to silence Baldoni's attorney, but the judge wasn't having it. This means all the evidence, all the text messages, all the emails. Everything will be made public. Imagine waking up to find your entire reputation hanging by a thread. That's what Justin Baldoni experienced when the New York Times published what his team calls a one-sided, fabricated story that destroyed his career overnight.
Is
He lost his
amazing.
agent
And he never edited a movie before. He just finished Deadpool and Wolverine, and he came on and helped us with this one. And he has incredible taste in music. Yeah, and we share the same composer as well from Deadpool and Wolverine. So there's a lot of sharing.
WME, his podcast was canceled, and lucrative film deals vanished in an instant. But the most shocking evidence of all, Blake's own words. In multiple interviews, Blake openly admitted to taking over aspects of the film that were never her responsibility. Here's what she said in her own words. "I find that fashion is storytelling. The way that I come into a character is always through fashion and costumes." She then described how she comes in and takes charge, saying people working with her experience drinking through a fire hose. And it gets worse. She admitted that her husband Ryan Reynolds rewrote scenes for the film, scenes that were originally crafted by the screenplay writer Christy Hall. Blake said on camera, "That's 90-something, 99% his." But things took an even darker turn when evidence emerged about exactly how much Blake allegedly hijacked this production. According to court documents, Blake scrapped the entire wardrobe that had already been purchased for her character and brought in her own stylist, running the budget up by an astounding $500,000. She handpicked her own composer, brought in her own editors, including one who had never edited a feature film before, only a Taylor Swift music video. And in perhaps the most reckless move, Blake allegedly stole a rough cut of the film without permission and brought it to Colleen Hoover's Book Bonanza event, where fans could have easily leaked footage online, potentially destroying distribution deals and tank the movie's success. "I literally brought the movie with me on the airplane," Blake admitted in an interview. "I have like a folder, like a disc, like a hard drive." But why would someone as established as Blake Lively risk everything for control over one film? The answer might shock you. According to Baldoni's legal team, this isn't about the movie at all. It's about power. They allege that whenever Blake didn't get her way during production, she would escalate accusations against Wayfarer Studios, Justin Baldoni, and co-producer Jamie Heath. The most damning part, Blake herself allegedly admitted that all misconduct stopped after filming resumed in 2024. But now she's shifting blame again, claiming the intense backlash she faced during the film's promotional run was somehow Justin's fault. And as the evidence continues to mount, industry insiders are whispering one word: narcissistic. Could this be the beginning of the end for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' reign in Hollywood? The fallout has only just begun, and what happens next could change everything we thought we knew about this power couple. But there's more to this story that will leave you speechless. Let's go deeper into what really happened on set, because the evidence suggests Blake wasn't just difficult. She was allegedly calculated in her takeover. According to Brian Fredman's timeline of events submitted to federal court, Blake didn't just make a few creative suggestions, she orchestrated a complete production coup. Remember when directors used to be in charge of their own movies? Not on Blake's watch. Blake came in like a wrecking ball, says one insider quoted in court documents. She positioned herself as running the show despite being hired strictly as an actress with a Vanity executive producer credit. What happened behind the scenes was even more shocking. When it came time for the film's premiere and press tour, Justin Baldoni was essentially erased from his own movie. His name was removed from promotional posters. The receipts are right there in public. And instead of walking the red carpet like every other director in Hollywood, he was banished to the basement. Yes, you heard that right. The basement. Baldoni wasn't allowed to do any major promotions and was even forced to leave the red carpet before Blake arrived. Imagine directing a film adaptation of a beloved bestseller only to be treated like an unwanted guest at your own premiere. The humiliation was complete. But wait, there's a twist about the New York Times article that no one saw coming. According to metadata evidence submitted to federal court, Blake was allegedly already working with the New York Times back in October to craft what Baldoni's team calls a smear campaign. This was months before the lawsuit was even filed. Ciao. The timing is suspicious, to say the least. Industry insiders suggest Blake and Ryan launched their lawsuit as a preemptive strike, knowing Baldoni was preparing his own legal action against them. Instead of playing defense, they went on the offensive. A classic Hollywood cost him everything. His entire career built around promoting healthy masculinity through his Man Enough platform collapsed overnight. Projects vanished, doors closed. His reputation was in tatters. But for Blake, the long-term damage might be even worse. After years of carefully crafting her image as America's relatable sweetheart, the mask is slipping. And what's underneath isn't pretty. The court proceedings have revealed a side of Blake that fans never imagined existed. While she portrays herself as an advocate for women, the evidence suggests she may have weaponized false allegations to get what she wanted. This isn't just damaging, it's potentially devastating for genuine victims of workplace misconduct who struggle to be believed. Not every woman tells the truth, and not every man is the villain. One female executive from Wayfarer Studios stated in a declaration to the court, "There are women on the other side of this lawsuit that deserve to be believed too." But the most disturbing part of all, the evidence suggesting Blake and Ryan allegedly tried to manipulate the narrative around domestic violence, the very subject matter of the film itself, for personal gain. When fans called out Blake's tone-deaf marketing, promoting her Betty Buzz drinks and Blake Brown hair care products while discussing a film about abuse, instead of acknowledging her misstep, she allegedly tried to shift blame to Baldoni and his team. The carefully worded apology she wanted Baldoni to issue included this telling line: "Part of our work is to have uncomfortable conversations for public growth. The film is doing that on screen, and we are doing that off-screen." Translation: take this PR hit for me, or else. Could this be why Judge Louis Lyman seemed unimpressed with Blake's legal team during the recent hearing? The federal judge not only denied the gag order, but also rejected Blake's attempt to avoid being deposed by Fredman. Imagine being Blake Lively, a woman who has built an empire on being fearless and outspoken, suddenly arguing that she doesn't feel comfortable being questioned by the opposing attorney. The judge wasn't having it. In federal court, you don't get to pick who deposes you. And that leads us to the biggest bombshell yet. Brian Fredman, Baldoni's powerhouse attorney, has launched a comprehensive website packed with explosive evidence, timelines, text messages, emails, videos, and legal documents, all of it pointing to one devastating conclusion. Blake Lively allegedly weaponized false allegations to take over It Ends With Us and is now trying to seize control of the sequel. But things just took an even darker turn in the legal battle. The judge indicated he might fast-track the trial date from March 2026 to something much sooner. This means Blake and Ryan could find themselves in court facing these allegations under oath within months, not years. For Hollywood's golden couple, a couple that has carefully managed their public image for years, this could be devastating. Just imagine Ryan Reynolds promoting Deadpool while simultaneously being deposed about alleged manipulation and career sabotage. The contrast couldn't be more stark. And speaking of Ryan Reynolds, his role in all this raises serious questions. The court documents allege he was not just a supportive husband, but an active participant in this power play. He allegedly rewrote scenes without proper authorization and helped craft the strategy to push Baldoni out. And out. The evidence suggests this wasn't just Blake acting alone. This was a calculated move by Hollywood's power couple to expand their empire, regardless of who got hurt in the process.